Hello everybody, it's Teacher Kaye, and today's topic is autism. Let's get talking. Hello everyone, if you're new here, I'm a certified speech-language pathologist, but to my little clients, I am just Teacher Kaye. In this next segment, I talk about top 6 signs that a child may have autism. Please note that this is by no means a diagnosis, meaning if you see these characteristics in your child does not necessarily mean right away that I am diagnosing or I am saying that they have autism, but these are things that you can watch out for and discuss with a professional like your developmental pediatrician, or have them seen for an assessment with other interventionists like an occupational therapist or a speech-language pathologist. For this part, I have invited a friend and colleague, Abby.
Hi everyone!
She's also a certified speech and language pathologist, and she studied this because her brother was diagnosed with autism at a young age. This list is not ranked or in order in any sort of way, it's just the top things on my mind. I invited Abby to talk about whether or not she saw these signs in her brother when he was growing up. The first one is a lack of eye contact. I mentioned this in episode 1, where eye contact is one of the first means of communication of a person. Children with autism have trouble with making and sustaining eye contact. Let's hear from Abby.
Yung kapatid ko, nung bata pa siya, mga 1.5 years old yun, bigla na lang namin napansin na hindi na siya tumitingin pag kinakausap namin siya. Minsan kahit sobrang lakas ng boses namin, akala nga namin hindi niya kami naririnig kasi hindi siya tumitingin. Pero yun pala, naririnig niya kami. Minsan lalapit pa siya. Hindi lang talaga siya tumitingin. Ina-avoid niya talagang tumingin na para bang nasasaktan siya kapag titingnan niya kami sa mata.
Number 2, rigidity. They need to have a routine and it needs to be followed strictly, and if not, they find it very hard to deal with that. Some examples of this are having to wear the same kind of pajamas every night, or needing to finish their rice before they eat their meats, and things like that.
So, syempre, growing up, sa school nasanay siya na may schedule. So, syempre sa bahay, kung minsan, flexible tayo eh. So, may mga times na hindi nasusunod kung ano yung nasa schedule. Minsan may nauuna. Minsan, kakain ka muna bago ka maligo. Sa atin, okay lang yun. Pero sa kapatid ko noon, minsan nagtatantrums siya talaga kapag pinilit muna namin siyang kumain bago siya maligo. Sanay siya, dapat maliligo muna siya bago kumain. So, pag napansin natin yung mga ganito, isa talaga yan sa mga warning signs.
Number 3 is a presentation of repetitive behavior. Now, I've seen this in my practice mostly with hand flapping. So I see them doing something like this, or rocking either forward and back or side to side. They also like spinning things. So sometimes when they pick up, let's say, a toy car, and they just like to spin the wheels of that car, and they could spend hours doing this repetitive behavior.
Yung kapatid ko, mahilig siyang mag-hand flap. Aabutan namin siya. Minsan, pagkagising pa lang, nag-hand flap na siya. Tapos, minsan may kasama pang sounds yun, no? Meron siyang hinahum. Pag iniwan namin siya ng ganun, siguro kahit mga 30 minutes up to 1 hour, pag bumalik kami dun, mapapansin namin, may hand flaps pa din. So, parang hindi siya talaga nagsasawa dun sa movement na yun. Para bang ikinatutuwa niya pa.
Number 4 is over or under reacting to stimuli. So I mentioned this earlier when I defined it as a sensory processing disorder. In other ways, this is manifested in, for example, you're speaking to them and you're actually talking in hushed tones, but they start to put their hands over their ears, and it looks like they are finding it too loud. Or children that don't like being rocked, or children that want to be rocked a lot. So they enjoy excessive being swayed, jump a lot, so they like to move around a lot because they are looking for more and more stimulus. So you can see this in hyperactive children, and that's why there is also a link between ADHD, which is attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, and autism.
So yung sa kapatid ko, ang isang evident sa kanya, no, na nag-overreact siya, madalas may kinalaman sa tunog. So kung tayo, pag may tunog na malakas, magugulat tayo, pero makaka-get over na tayo. Pero yung sa kapatid ko, kunwari, kahit tao lang na matinis yung boses or high-pitched yung voice niya, naiinis talaga yung kapatid ko. Minsan nilalabas niya yun, nagtatantrums siya. So ang isang example naman ng pag-underreact niya sa stimuli ay pag nagkaroon siya ng sugat, parang hindi siya nasasaktan. Minsan, pagka gumaling na, di ba nagkakaroon siya ng scab, tatanggalin niya talaga, siguro pag nangangati. Pero hindi talaga siya nasasaktan. Kaya dati no, nahirapan kami pagalingin yung mga sugat niya dahil dun.
Number 5 for me is one of the most concerning, and it is that they have a low sense of danger. What does this mean? They can't detect it. They simply don't understand what is going to hurt them and to not do it again. Don't have that self-regulation to understand that. That's scary for children. For example, if, we're out with them and they suddenly slip from our grasp and they could cross the street without looking if there are cars because they simply don't know what there is to be afraid of.
Yung kapatid ko, lalo na nung bata pa siya, mahilig talaga siyang umakyat sa mga lamesa, upuan, cabinet, na para bang hindi siya natatakot malaglag. So akala namin nung una, baka pag nalaglag siya or baka pag yung ma-experience niya na muntik siyang malaglag, baka matakot na siya. Pero nung na-experience nga niya na muntik na siyang malaglag, parang wala lang nangyari. Aakyat pa rin siya sa lamesa, aakyat pa rin siya sa cabinet. Talagang dun namin nakita na para bang hindi talaga siya natatakot. And syempre, bilang ate, bilang family members niya, we were really scared. Kumbaga parang wala siyang pakialam or hindi niya naiintindihan na pwede siyang masaktan dun sa mga ginagawa niya na yun.
And number 6 is why they come into our care at all, is that sometimes their speech and language is delayed. It is affected. So some of them, when given early intervention, are able to connect and learn how to communicate. But there have been cases where they are nonverbal for the most part of their lives, and what we can do about this is give them alternative or augmentative communication devices so that they can communicate with us, if not verbally, then through either gestures or sign language, or better yet, now in the digital age, there are some very awesome AAC devices that will be able to communicate with people.
Minsan na-expect natin, no, siguro sa mga batang 1-year-old, expect natin na masasabi na nila at least yung mama or papa. Sa kapatid ko noon, nag-umpisa siya na nakakapagsabi siya or nakakapag-repeat siya ng mga salita na sinasabi namin sa kanya. Pero pagdating nung 1.5 years old na siya, bigla na lang nawala lahat ng yun, kasabay actually nung eye contact niya. So, nung time na yun, nagtataka kami kasi dati alam niya naman yung mga salita na to, pero nung time na yun, hindi na. Naghanap na yung magulang ko ng specialist na pwedeng tumingin sa kanya. Kasi nung time na yun, hindi pa rin naman namin talaga alam kung ano yung autism. Iggy is still actually minimally verbal, so he has to use an AAC. Gumagamit siya ng touch chat, yun yung pangalan ng app, na naka-install sa iPad. So, pumipindot siya doon ng mga symbols na may pictures para sabihin sa amin kung ano yung gusto niya o kung ano yung nararamdaman niya. Kung hindi naman niya ginagamit yun, tinatry niyang magsalita. However, si Iki kasi hindi talaga ganun kalinaw yung salita niya. So, kunwari kapag may gusto siya, ang lumalabas lang ay usually ang tinatawag natin na verbal approximation. So, halimbawa, kapag gusto niyang manghingi ng water, imbis na water yung masabi niya, minsan yung tunog parang water. Parang ganun lang.
Ah!
Si Iki, yung kapatid ko, he's actually 20 years old na. So, adult na siya. At napakarami na niyang pinagdaanan. And of course, we're thankful to all the teachers and the therapists who helped us along the way. Marami na siyang kayang gawin sa bahay eh. Actually, mostly independent na siya, especially sa pagligo. Nakakatulong din siya sa chores sa bahay. Tumutulong siya sa laundry, nagpo-fold siya na sarili niyang damit. Siya naglilinis ng kwarto niya, nag-aayos ng bed niya pagkagising. Tumutulong din siya mag-wash ng dishes. Minsan tumutulong din sa pagluto at minsan nagbe-bake din siya. Yung mga hobbies naman niya ngayon, mahilig siya sa diamond painting, tsaka yun yung tinatawag na mosaic. Siyempre ngayon naka-lockdown kasi so hindi siya makapag-swimming. Pero favorite activity niya yun. Pero ngayon, meron kaming vinyl na pool sa garahe. So, mababaw lang yun, pero nag-enjoy pa rin naman siya nun. So, yun yung gawain niya tuwing hapon. Siguro mga every other day niya yung ginagawa. So, si Iggy dahil sobrang hilig niya sa tubig, minsan, kailangan siyang bantayan kapag yung task may kinalaman sa tubig kasi minsan maaksaya sa water, no? So, paglalaruan niya talaga yun, papatuluin niya. Yun yung isa sa mga self-stimulatory behavior niya, na natutuwa siyang makitang tumutulo yung tubig. Of course, kahit naman malaki na si Iggy Boy, hindi naman maiiwasan syempre na magkaroon minsan ng mga issues, especially pag may kinalaman sa rigidity niya. So, minsan kunwari, pag hindi nasunod yung nasa schedule niya, naiinis din siya. O kaya, minsan naman, kung may pagkain siyang hindi masyadong familiar sa kanya, tapos gusto namin patry sa kanya, minsan nagkaka-problema. Minsan successful, masusubukan niya, minsan naman hindi. Pero sa palagay ko, doon sa kanyang rigidity, no, isa sa mga pinaka-importanting natutunan namin bilang kapamilya ni Iggy Boy ay respetuhin yung choices niya tsaka yung mga opinion niya. Malaki na kasi siya eh. Siyempre, alam na din niya kung ano yung gusto niya talaga. Kaya minsan, kahit may gusto kaming patry na bago, kung talagang ayaw niya pa o hindi pa siya ready, tinatanggap din namin yon at baka sa susunod na lang namin siguro susubukan. I'm really thankful na na-share ko sa inyo yung story namin ni Iggy. It reminded me of how far we've come ever since Iggy was diagnosed with autism. Now, I hope our story can inspire others as well. Maraming salamat po. Thank you.
Yay! For those who now are concerned about their child, what are the steps that you can do next? You have to discuss with your pediatrician and pay close attention to the developmental milestone checkups like on the 9th, 18th, 24th, and 30th months. Those are especially critical for checking if your child is developing typically. Once you discuss with your pediatrician, ask them if there is a need to be referred to a developmental pediatrician. And then after that, if they have been diagnosed, it would be best to seek early intervention. Early intervention is the best thing that you can do for yourselves and for your child and for your family. Intervention will help you manage the manifestations of autism, like their speech and language concerns and difficulties, their occupational therapy for their other functional processes like feeding, teaching them how to eat by themselves, teaching them how to go to the toilet, dress themselves, and other things like that. I hope that this has helped someone. And just know that you are doing a great job. So give yourselves a hug and a pat on the back. And I'm rooting for you. And know that there are people that you can work with that will want to see them become the best versions of themselves. Before I say goodbye today, I just want to thank my friend Lady, who has been so supportive of my channel and amazingly has been painting during this lockdown and came up with this beautiful artwork, coincidentally in the colors of Teacher Kaye Talks. Thank you so much for your generosity of not just this painting, but your support, which only goes to show that we get by with a lot of help from our friends. So be kind to one another. Let's lift each other up. And on that note, please subscribe. I would super love it. I would appreciate it so much. And you can leave me messages here on the comment section or on my Facebook and Instagram accounts at Teacher Kaye Talks. And that's it for today. See you next week and happy talking.